So it's been several weeks since I've taken a look at anything to do with the WordPress drama and linking everything into the WP Engine and so on. There's a couple of videos which I'll link in the details down below if you want to check those out. But yesterday there was a landmark change in the whole process of what's going on here, and that is that the courts have approved the injunction that WP Engine has brought against Automattic and Matt Mullenweg. So what does this actually mean? Well, before we go any further, let me just quickly say that I am not here saying that I'm on WP Engine's side or WordPress's side or anything of the sort. I'm simply going to give you what's happened, and I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on how this has affected the community and everything else around it. Now, some people are saying this has had no effect whatsoever, but the reality is that's simply not true. Spend any time in Facebook groups, forums, and talking to people that are in the WordPress ecosystem, and there are plenty of people that have been and are being affected by what's happening right now. But anyway, that's for a different time. So what exactly are we talking about? Well, WordPress parent company must stop blocking WP Engine, the judge rules. This is over on The Verge. I'll link this and everything else I talk about in the details down below so you can check this out for yourself. But effectively, yesterday, WP Engine just won a preliminary injunction against WordPress.com, the parent company Automattic. On Tuesday, a California District Court judge ordered Automattic to stop blocking WP Engine's access to WordPress.org resources and interfering with its plugins. If you don't know what they're talking about, interfering with its plugins, there was the whole taking over of ACF, manufacturing how the whole situation was put into place so they could take ACF free, rebrand it to SCF, Secure Custom Fields. The irony there wouldn't be lost. I would check out the video in this. I go into more detail. But basically, that's part of what we're talking about here and the impact that that has had. And also some of the other things where they're kind of bringing in some of the pro features from ACF into SCF or whatever the heck it's called. So we'll have to see what happens there, how that will play out. And I'm sure there will be some legal proceedings brought against Automattic with regards to that from WP Engine. But the preliminary injunction comes after WP Engine, a third-party WordPress hosting service, filed a lawsuit that accused Automattic and its CEO, Matt Mullenweg, of multiple forms of immediate irreparable harm. It later asked the court to stop Mullenweg from restricting WP Engine's access to WordPress.org. Again, if you're not sure what that is, they were blocked from using WP, the repo, WordPress.org, so they couldn't update a small security issue that was there in the free version of ACF, which is part of that whole manufacturing the situation to give Automattic and those kinds of things the ability to be able to take over and rename it to SCF. Anyway, so all the other things are here, you know, the sort of going nuclear and all those kinds of things. But the thing here is that the judge has found merit in WP Engine's claims that Automattic's actions harmed the business relationships, saying Mullenweg's conduct is designed to induce breach of disruption. As for Automattic's argument that blamed WP Engine for relying upon WordPress.org to power its business, the judge didn't find it very compelling, stating, while defendants characterized WP Engine's harm as self-imposed because it built its business around a website that it had no contractual right to use, in other words, WordPress, defendants' role in helping the harm materialize through their recent targeted actions towards WP Engine and no other competitor cannot be ignored, the ruling states. And this is one of the key things here, is that this was simply going after WP Engine for what it considered to be trademark infringement on the WordPress name and branding and so on, various different things, but never going after any other company for doing very similar things. You can agree or disagree. Again, like I say, I'm not a WP Engine user. I don't use their services other than ACF, which I bought before they even owned it. That's my entire involvement. But they're saying the ruling found that WP Engine showed it will suffer irreparable harm without injunctive relief, while also impacting members of the WordPress community. By that, they're kind of talking about the taking over of ACF free, automatically updating people's websites that were using ACF free with SCF once that was taken over without necessarily their involvement with automatic updates or simply not even knowing what was going on there. Again, these are kinds of things that are causing damage to, WP Engine and specifically ACF and ACF Pro. So under the preliminary injunction, Automattic will have to take down the list of companies it displayed on a site it created to track outgoing WP Engine customers, as well as remove the checkbox that asks WordPress users to verify they're not affiliated with WP Engine when logging in. So the first part, if you're not sure about this, is that Automattic, or people involved in Automattic, or they took credit for it at least, had a website that was tracking all of the sites that were hosting on WP Engine, where they were going to and how many had left to kind of keep track. And there were various other use cases you could use this for, like downloading the CSV of all of those different websites and using that to potentially contact those and maybe push those over to your own hosting company or third-party hosting companies, or maybe even Automattic hosting companies like Pressable. Who knows? Anyway, so the removing the checkbox. If you don't know what this is, basically, if you try to log into WordPress.org, and I think possibly WordPress.com, but don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure because I don't use it, you'll notice, and this is today, so this was come out yesterday, the injunction came out yesterday, the 10th of December, today is the 11th of December in the UK, and you'll, strangely enough, notice that that checkbox is still in situ. So a lot of people have been really concerned about this because if they check the box, they simply can't access WordPress.org and lots of other related features to do with being able to update plugins and so on. Hence the reason why some plugin developers are moving their products away from WordPress.org, the repository, handling this on their own websites or whatever they want to sort of set up, and also handling the update and maintenance process, no longer relying upon WordPress.org, because there is this fear that their plugin could be taken over because of the open source GPL licensing kind of agreements that are in place and various other things that have happened, and how things were, let's just say, potentially engineered to make ACF something that could be taken over. Again, we'll talk about that another day. So that is still in place at the time of recording this, which is the 11th of December. So, WP Engine responded to the ruling in a post on X saying, "We are grateful that the court has granted our motion for a preliminary injunction that restores access to and functionality of WordPress.org for WP Engine, its customers and its users. Meanwhile, Automattic spokesperson Megan Fox tells The Verge the company looks forward to prevailing at trial. Today's ruling is a preliminary order designed to maintain the status quo. It was made without the benefit of discovery, our motion to dismiss, or the counterclaims we will be filing against WP Engine shortly. We look forward to prevailing at trial as we continue to protect the open source ecosystem during full fact discovery and a full review of the merits." So this has been updated today on The Verge, because when I read this earlier on today, this section about Automattic, they still hadn't received any kind of correspondence from Automattic. So that's obviously been updated and they've added that extra information in. Now, if you want to read the injunction and everything to do with it, there's a link, like I say, in the article that I'll put inside here, as well as the actual post itself, which has all the details in a PDF. So you can take a look at this. It's public information that's out there. So what does this really mean? Well, at this point in time, it's still kind of like, yes, WP Engine have had a bit of a win here with this injunction. Have Automattic actually put into place the things that have been said that have to take place? Well, we've already seen that they haven't put into place the option for, not having that checkbox. And if we take a look at the repository and do a search for advanced custom fields, we can still see that ACF has not been restored inside here either. So if we take a quick look through, there's 49 pages, so there's nothing showing up at this point in time with that specific search, but you'll see that Secure Custom Fields is still showing up. And again, if we take a look in there, finally, there's 2+ million active installations, which is funny to see as this is on version 6.3.10.2. That's a mouthful, which would be very, very quick for a plugin that was a new plugin. Anyway, we've already talked about that. It will be interesting to see where things go from here. If I'm honest, I think it's good that we have seen this injunction take place, because I think the damage that's going on here to the broader WordPress ecosystem and lots of users, whether that's right the way down to people actually just building websites with WordPress, to actual developers feeling really insecure about having their content available on the .org repository, a real dangerous precedence has been set. And you might say, well, Paul, they've got the right to do this. They signed up this with GPL and open source and all those kinds of things. And from a legal point of view, you may well be right. But from a moral point of view, it's very, very shady and very grey area right at this point. And I think the ripple effect that I talked about several weeks ago in my initial videos is already starting to affect various different parts of the WordPress ecosystem, like I say, plugin developers, users, and so on. But as always, I would love to get your feedback on the situation where it is right now. Do you fall on the side of WP Engine and this whole Injunction? Do you fall on the side of Automattic? Do you fall somewhere in the middle? Or do you just not give a damn? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said, all applicable links will be detailed in the description, and if you want to check out the other videos, they'll be linked down there as well. As always, my name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.